Let's talk about anger and the equation for how human beings create the self-defeating emotion that we call anger. In this video, we're going to apply the 3 insights, the ABC model, and the formula for anger into a real-world scenario that you can apply to your life. Meet Jack. Jack has an important business presentation to get to, but upon approaching his car, he sees he has a flat tire. This flat tire represents an A in the ABC model. It's an activating event. This activating event occurs, and we now have a choice between the 2 paths. We make this choice when we choose either a rational belief or an irrational belief in the ABCs. And whichever one you choose leads to the C, which is the emotional, behavioral, and physiological consequence to your belief. Each C is represented by one of the 2 paths. To illustrate this point, we have 2 separate Jacks go down each path. We'll call the Jack that doesn't know the 3 insights irrational Jack, and the one who does rational Jack. Irrational Jack sees the activating event, and because he does not have the first insight, he blames the tire for his feelings. Because he doesn't know the second insight, which is knowing how he creates an emotion using the ABC model, he reacts instead of responds, the A to C thinking.
This is pissing me off.
And because he doesn't know the third insight, which is how to get over the negative emotion by disputing the irrational beliefs, he reactively chooses one of those irrational beliefs to be his B. And in this scenario, it's the formula for anger. Egocentric thinking plus should. Egocentric thinking is the idea that the world revolves around you, your wants, and your desires. And should is the idea that things ought to be any way other than how they are because you would prefer them to be different. And it's the egocentric thinking that sets us up for the should. And it's the should statement that makes us angry. Because a should statement is the point of non-acceptance. That's the point where you're rejecting the activating event by your thinking. There is no anger without a should, must, or demand. This is where we go from a desiring philosophy, where we prefer something, to a demanding philosophy, where we insist that it must be different than how it is. So the A equals a flat tire, the B equals ET plus S, therefore the C is anger. Because his thoughts were the formula for anger, his emotion was anger. And because his emotions were anger, his behavior is to throw his coffee mug, which spills coffee all over his shirt, and he now has to go inside to change his shirt, which makes him even later than he was before, and he still hasn't fixed his flat tire. Know anyone that sounds like a rational Jack? Now, how would this look if Jack was rational? Rational Jack does know the 3 insights to happiness. So when he sees the flat tire, he knows he has to take responsibility for how he responds, instead of blaming the tire for his thoughts, feelings, and behavior. To do this, Rational Jack does 30 seconds of the 4 blocks breath to calm down. This allows him to switch from the narrator to the observer. This is how Rational Jack gets out of the reactive narrator and into the meditative mind. Jack also knows the second insight, which is how he creates an emotion using those ABCs. And he also knows the third insight, which is how to get over a negative emotion quickly by disputing the formula for anger. So instead of thinking an irrational belief in the B, he chooses to talk himself into an accepting belief, which sounds like this.
Well, the tire is already flat. If I don't accept this, I'll be going down the path of pain and suffering. All I can do is move on. Now what are my options?
Look how quickly Rational Jack has moved on to options. This is responding versus reacting. He realizes he can fix the tire later and call an Uber now. To run this through the ABCs, the A still equals flat tire, but the B now equals acceptance. Therefore, the C equals responding instead of reacting. Therefore, his behavior was calling for a ride and staying on time for his presentation. Irrational Jack has been so busy clinging to his anger that he has repeated ET plus S over and over and over again in his thinking. And it has not even occurred to him that there are other solutions to his problem. Instead of being smart and staying on time by calling for a ride, he's trying to fix his tire himself. And now his new shirt is covered in oil, and he still hasn't fixed his flat tire. It's easy to see how the rational path is an upward spiral. Rational Jack gets to review his notes in the back seat instead of drive to work. And it's easy to see how the irrational path is a downward spiral. Irrational Jack is breaking things, making messes, and getting later and later. Remember, there is no anger without egocentric thinking plus the word should taking place in your mind. Egocentric thinking is when you believe that whatever is convenient for you should be that way, and everything that is inconvenient for you should be different. If you're already feeling anger, one smart technique is to red flag the word should and realize that's the moment in your thinking that you're rejecting the activating event. If you red flag and replace the word should with acceptance, you will feel better right away. Try it the next time you're upset. In the next video, Dr. Parr will teach us how we create anxiety. Feel free to pause, download the worksheets on anger, and go through some disputing before moving on.